Good morning. I wonder if it caught that glass thing. Let me get my hair out of my eyes here. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Hair in my eyes. Good morning. You know who this is. You know what I've been up to? Or do you? I'm trying to get my hair out of my glasses. I kind of like my bangs being down in my eyes. You know, it's very curly. So, excuse me. You drink water. And I'm going out to breakfast right after I do this video. Go eat something while I'm waiting for this to upload. I'm sure that most of you have noticed that the last 3 days on the blog, I have been doing a lot of reblogging excerpts from a year ago from the novel When Carrie left home and went to Paris prior to returning to school. And you're probably wondering, well, Cassidy, what's going on? Why aren't you writing? And the truth is, this week has gotten exceedingly crazy. Very crazy, actually. I hate to use the word very. Exceedingly, extraordinarily, exceptionally crazy. Lazy is a lazy word. Very is a lazy word, and you will not get laid. Remember that if you use it. It's sort of like this. For one, I've been finding it difficult to fit in time to do all my writing. I recently just kind of pushed myself to the edge of exhaustion with derby practice, and was actually ordered by my coach to cut back on practices for 1 week. She basically told me, I want you to just do the minimum, come do our 2 practices, and that's it. I don't want you doing anything else. And I told her, okay, we even talked about that last night. We were out for drinks, and she was there, and she said, I told you to do that. And I said, yes, and I listened. I wasn't one of these going, oh no, I'm not going to pay attention to the coach. I said, when you told me not to do the extra practices, I did. I took it easy. And I was like right on the verge of exhaustion, pushing myself so hard. Things have gotten crazy at work. I've got a lot of work all of a sudden I need to get done, and it's putting a lot of stress on me. So it's usually like first thing up in the morning, I'm yawning. I'm getting ready for work, kind of waking up actually. And then I'm going to work. Now I'm working. Then I'm coming home. And this week I've had something to do all the time. Usually first thing I do is I get in a nap because I need it. And then I had to go down to New York on Monday for practice. And then we had freshie practice on Tuesday. And then I was going to take it easy on Wednesday night because I have a late practice, but I ended up going and doing phone banking for Planned Parenthood. And then Thursday, before I went to York practice, I had to run around and pick up a bunch of shit. So, it was just nuts. And then last night I went out and drank. I had a drink with friends, one of the women from my derby team, and then our coach showed up too. So we just sat around and commiserated and bullshitted and talked about players. Because I can. But what happened this week? Something really important happened in my derby career. I have to look at this message. Okay, I looked at it. Tuesday night. Yes, Tuesday night. We had our freshie practice. And I did a 27.5 again. And I got almost 23 laps. I improved my time by 13 seconds. and I got almost 23 laps. I still have a ways to go, but it seems like every time I'm improving slightly. So I'm hoping to break the 6-minute mark this next time. And see, actually, I know I've gone 25 laps before, but that was in a group pack situation where everybody was just, flying balls out. And I was kind of in the middle of them going with them, so. But my friend Mary, who I helped bring onto the team 2 months ago, it wasn't just me, it was me and 2 other people. She did her 27.5. And she actually passed it. I was timing her. And she not only did her 27.5, she did 27 laps in 4 minutes, 53 seconds, which is pretty good. And she did it with probably one of the shittiest forms I've ever seen. It was like, it goes counter to everything they tell us to do when you're doing a 27.5. Because she's a very powerful skater. She's very fast. She's very athletic. And she not only broke the 27.5, but she crushed what I call the 113, which is one of our requirements, is that you have to, from a standing start, just standing still and starting, you have to do 1 lap of the track in 13 seconds or less. So, you have to skate 180 feet in 13 seconds. So I heard the coach telling her, well, now all you have to do is pass your test. And then Mary, who doesn't do plows very well, she goes, I got to get my plows. So Ida, our coach, goes, well, you do your plows and you pass your test, and then you pick out your derby name, which means just those 2 things are all that stood between her and certification. And once you're certified, you're no longer fresh meat. You're up with the OG. You're starting to learn how to actually bout practice. You start doing scrimmage practices. So just out of curiosity, because I didn't know, I said, okay, Ida, what do I have to do to pass bout? How do I get certified? And she says, well, how's your knee drops? And I said, I can do them. I can show them to you. And she goes, we'll do those later. And she said, your plows. I said, yeah, I know. I need to do my plows. And I said, what else? And she said, well, you need to take the test. You need to do your 27.5 and you need to do your 113. I'm like, okay, and? And she's like, no, that's it. That's all you need to do. So suddenly, after 4.5 months, I'm like, you're kidding me. I've only got like 5 things I need to check off, and I'm certified. So Wednesday night, when we went into practice, we did certification checks, and I did my knee drops, and I did my plow. I kicked. I plowed like a son of a bitch. I finally got it by chomping down real hard, which is something you can do. I got my foot out in front of me and just chomped the hell out of the floor. And it was, quote, acceptable, unquote. So I passed that. And that was it, so now all Mary has to do, we found out at the end of certification that we had to do what we call a push. And that is, you push someone towards another blocker or a jammer. And by the same token, you have to be pushed as well and be able to, control your backward movement and all that other stuff. A lot of it is just being in the proper derby stance when you're pushed. And not going, wah! And then a whip. Well, of course, Mary starts freaking out. She's like, what's a whip? What's a whip? What's a whip? I don't know what a whip is. I've never done a whip. And of course, I go, I said, hey, I've seen Whip It. I watched it. I know what a whip is. Let me show you, Mary. So I'm skating along, and I basically come up, grab my hand, come up slowly, grab my hand, and I just whipped her. And I got it the first time. I was like, yeah, you whipped her. That's a whip. And then Mary finally, it took her a couple of tries, but she managed to whip me. So all we have now, we're both taking the test. It's a 50-question test on the rules of Derby. And a lot of people don't pass it the first time. So I'm not sweating the test, but there's an online testing thing where you can just go through, and it's randomly mixes the questions up so that you learn the question and not the placement. And right now I'm scoring about 80 to 83% when I go through on like 20 questions. So today I'm going to actually start pushing that up towards 40. See how I do over 40 questions, because I was told last night there's like 50 questions on the test. And if I pass the test on Monday, and I'm like keeping my fingers crossed, if I pass the test on Monday, then all I have to do is 27.5 and the 113. And I have a feeling my coach, who has already said she knows I'm going to she wants to see me certified real bad. I have a feeling I'm going to get pushed real hard to get my last two speed things out of the way. And then I am no longer fresh meat. I'm a certified skater, and I get a Derby name. So you guys, if you have been following my Facebook page, and why aren't you? I know some of you aren't on Facebook, but some are. So you're following my Facebook page, so you know what's going on with me. But yeah, it's like, that has really been a big deal this whole week, is all of a sudden, wow, I'm this close to certifying and didn't even realize it. So I have like all of a sudden just started pushing myself, and I'm trying to figure out, how to improve my form, how to get more speed. And I realized that there was something that I've been doing wrong, because I can feel it. And that's getting out over the front of my skates, getting on the front wheels. And when you get on the front wheels, you lose a lot of speed because you're essentially pushing your wheels into the ground. You're putting all your weight forward, and it pushes your wheels into the ground, so it slows you up. And that's one of the reasons why you're supposed to kind of sit back and you get your weight on the back wheels, and you use your front wheels to turn. And I know that's one of the reasons why I've been having trouble getting speed, is just because my form is all wrong. So that's like something that I need to kick in gear real hard here to improve, because I need speed. I need to pick up a minute. And I'm still tending to skate standing up, so I'm skating leaning forward, and it's robbing me both of momentum and it's robbing me of speed. So right now, that's my biggest concern, is getting that form down. And because of my weight, I weigh 245, 250. Maybe 240 now. When I lean forward, I'm putting a lot of mass on those front wheels. So it is killing my speed. It really is. It's killing it precipitously. That's been a big thing for me. I've spent 4.5 months going from someone who, my first night at Derby, when I came out for recruitment night, I literally almost passed out 3 times. I had to actually lay down. I tell the freshies this, my first time around the track, I did a lap and a half and had to lay down because I was passing out. I was graying out. And I had to either sit down or lay down twice more that night. And the next day at practice, when we were doing 30 laps of cardio, I barely managed 5, and I had to go sit down. I discovered from right after the last recruitment night that several of my teammates really didn't think I was gonna make it. They were like, no, she's we don't know about her. She's, we don't think she's gonna make it. So everyone, the consensus I've kind of gotten is that so many people are kind of surprised that I've pushed myself this hard to get where I'm at. And I knew from talking to Panzer, she said all the coaches were basically like, she's just improving every day. It's incredible to watch her do this. I was not athletic. I had not been on skates in 40 years. I had not done any athletic activity in 25. So it's a big deal. It really is. And it's taken up a big part between work and napping and making certain I get the right fuel in my body and practice. I really have not had time to write. It's just been a pain in the ass. And I felt a bit guilty about it because I haven't worked on a novel probably, I think Monday I wrote some stuff, and that's been it. So I'm hoping to get a few things written today and tomorrow. I hope to start in on what happened with Annie and Carrie at the Sea Sprite. But at the same time, I'm going down to Film About today. I'm going to study my test. I'm going to practice my test. And then I'm going down this afternoon and this evening to Film About and then go to the after party. So most of my writing will probably be tomorrow morning. And it has been, just a crazy journey. I'm almost there. I'm almost really close to being a real roller girl, being a real derby girl. It's seriously, this is the time. This is the big thing. And what's interesting is, and I've been telling my friend Mary this, and I actually told Panzer and Blade's my coach last night. I said, even if I certify within the next couple of weeks, I know it's going to be 6 months before I'm about ready. All you're doing with certification is proving that you can do these minimum things. And then they throw you in with the OG and you learn how to scrimmage. And I mean, I've already done a little of that, but at the same time, no, I'm not even close. The funny thing is, Thursday night I went down to New York and we had a practice, and the normal coach, Devour, she wasn't there. She was actually helping her aunt celebrate something. So Ruby Recker took over, and the first thing we did was we did a 3-person push drill. Normally when we do push drills in Harrisburg, you push one person around the outside of the WFDA track. It's about 350 feet you have to push. We did a 3-person push drill. So you're pushing 2 people in front of you. It's not easy. It really isn't. It's good cardio. It's good strength. But then we did something that is insane. We lined up in a pace line, and in ours there was, at one point there were 12 and then there was 11. One person had to drop out because her knees were starting to shake and she was afraid she was going to go down and take people with her. You got in a pace line, so let's say there was 11 people in our pace line. And the person at the front of the pace line pulls the other 10 people around the outside of the WFDA track. Again, about 300 to 350 feet. or 100 to say 106 meters, I think it is, 110 meters for 2 laps. For 2 freaking laps. And everybody else just stays in derby position, and at one point we were just like hugging each other and holding on, because you're going so slow that 20 laps ends up feeling like about 50 or 60. You know, you're staying low the whole time and your back is screaming. It's funny because I'm listening to the players around me, and they're all like, my feet are cramping, my thighs are cramping, my back hurts so much. So it's not just me, it was everyone. You know, they're like, oh my god, my feet are hurting, my feet hurt so much. And you just like endure it. And I actually ended up pulling everyone for 2 laps. I mean, in a funny way, it didn't hurt as much pulling the people as it did staying in derby while I was getting pulled for 20 laps. We figured at the end of it, each pace line had somewhere between 1,500 and 1,700 pounds of mass behind us that you were pulling. And seriously, I even wrote when I was reviewing the practice, I said, I seriously thought I was just going to fuck up and die. I really did. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. And I got up there and just like, just powered through it. I was really impressed. You know, I was impressed. Still not the fastest person. And, but I did get the scrimmage. It was a slow scrimmage. Because it was funny, because they have freshies too that they brought on through recruitment night. And down in York. And Ruby said, if you have not been in a WFDA sanctioned bout, I want you to stand off to the side and just watch this and pay attention. And they were showing the freshies, you know, this is what's going on, and they're talking. And one of the York players, Clutch, now she knows I've done scrimmage practice in Harrisburg here, and she's like, she knows I can take a hit and stuff like that. So she's standing up next to me. She's going, so you're going to want to get in on this, aren't you? And I go, nah, Ruby said, you know, WFDA sanctioned only. And she's like, no, you can do this. You can get in on this. You can do this. And finally she went and she goes, Ruby, she goes, can she do this with us? And Ruby's like, yeah, we'll do it slow. Come on. So I went around. I did an error. I did my infamous clockwise block. And I was told by Blade last night, because I have a tendency now that when I know I'm getting ready to do an error, I'll stop and put my hands up and admit I did the error. And she goes, I know you're doing this because you're trying to learn, but from now on, don't admit to a penalty. She's like, stop that. She goes, you do not admit to a penalty until they whistle you on it, or they call you on it. She goes, so from now on, please, don't stop what you're doing. Do it, and when they whistle you on the penalty, you get off. Because if you do that during a bout, you're basically admitting guilt, and they will whistle you off, whether you are guilty or not. Because they'll think if you are admitting to being guilty, you must be guilty. So she's like, don't do that anymore. I was like, okay, I'll try. So yeah, that's my new thing now, is like, even though I know I'm doing something I shouldn't do, until they call me on it, it didn't happen. And one of the unsung jokes in Derby is, if the ref didn't see it, it wasn't a penalty. Yeah. Yeah, you managed to get that elbow at their side. The ref didn't see it. It must not be a penalty. Yeah. So yeah, my coach told me last night, she goes, stop that. Don't do that anymore. So I will stop that. So that's why I haven't been writing. Once I get certified, I will have Tuesday nights off all the time. So I'm hoping to catch up on some of my rest. I probably still will. I'll probably end up still doing practice 3 nights a week, but I'm hoping that now I've been doing this system of eating bananas and drinking chocolate milk when I get home from practice because calcium, protein, potassium, it helps with muscle rebuilding. That's what Panzer told me, and I've been doing that. I've also been using binding chain amino acid powder in my water when I'm practicing. And that also helps develop lean muscle and rebuild muscle. And I have to say that since I've started doing it for the last couple of weeks, I have not felt as fatigued. So that's helping as well. Driving yourself to the point of near exhaustion is never a good thing. And it affects everything. So I'm hoping to get back into the swing of things. I really want to get back to writing real bad, and like I said, I hope to do some today. I hope to do some tomorrow, but I know I'm going to be busy today. In fact, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to upload this video and go get breakfast because I need something to eat. I think steak and eggs today. Yeah, I like steak and eggs. I did steak and eggs before I did my Saturday York practice a few weeks ago, and that was when I basically skated I think it was a 25.5. I basically skated a 25.5 because all that protein was hitting, and that helped out a lot. So there you go. All right, so there's where I've been. And I'm hoping to come back soon. I hope you understand that right now, getting my derby stuff out of the way is very important to me. Not very, exceedingly important. It represents a significant importance to my life. Don't say very. Very is a lazy word. You will not get laid. I don't get laid anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that's where I've been. I hope to really start getting some stuff out. If nothing else, maybe I should just start cutting video in the morning and then uploading it and going from there, because that seems to work too. Yeah. So I hope to see you in the pages real soon, and take care. See you around.